ever wondered what was actually going on in this country when it comes to politics? Donald Trump versus Joe Biden? Well, I've got an amazing video for you today where we have 5 different factors that we use to rank the candidates on Instagram. Not with a poll that has 673 people in it like ABC News does, or any one of these other news organizations that has a biased way of gathering data, a biased way of manipulating the data, and then the media, which is biased in and of itself, reports on that data. Let's actually understand what people are doing. So we look at where people are following the candidates. We look at average total number of likes and comments. We look at the hashtag usage on these guys, and we look at the search volume, and then we have a bonus at the end. So if you want to understand what is actually taking place versus what the media says is taking place in the country, remember, 673 people. 673 people. The population in the United States is around 330 million. Do you think for a moment that a sample size of 673 people is going to represent what the collective of America thinks? No, that's a fucking joke. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous to think that something like that is even plausible. Look at 2016. It's just not going to be accurate. We have all the data of actual behavior in front of us, that you don't have to have all those biases layered on top of biases that is reported by a biased media. So with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it's good to freaking see you. Let's get right into it. So first of all, I wanted to play you a little clip here from, this is Joe Biden, and then I'm going to ask you a question as we get into the data. So listen up.
And so if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. And so if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Did you hear that? So what Biden said is, if you have a problem figuring out if you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Now, for my question, if Trump were to say the same exact thing, how do you think the media would respond to that? He would get utterly lambasted as a racist across the board from every single news organization. But what happens when Joe Biden says stuff like this? Nothing. So do you think that for a moment in time, just for half a fucking second, that any of this information is accurate? No, and I'm going to get into all that data. To start with, the first factor out of the 5 that we're going to get into, by the way, we're going to be getting into the YouTube rankings based upon what people are actually consuming on YouTube tomorrow. So make sure you press that subscribe button and that bell notification so YouTube will notify you when I drop that video. Okay, so on Instagram, we take a look at the total number of followers gained over the last 30 days. Here we have Trump, and this is from Social Blade. Social Blade is a website that tracks different social profiles on each different platform. So you get to, it's basically vanity metrics for people who are like influencers and stuff, but it's also a great tool for research. So if we look here, again, Trump has 570 roughly. Let's take a look over here. So I've got them highlighted. We have Biden with 304 and Trump with 568. So maybe about a 1.75, meaning for every 175 people that follow Trump, you get 100 people that follow Biden. So there's almost like a 2-to-1 ratio there, meaning a lot more people are following Trump than they are Biden. And you may be thinking, well, I follow Trump and I hate him. So maybe a better question to ask, and I don't care what you do or how you spend your time, is possibly, do you think for a moment in time that you could have a better way to spend your time to bring more happiness, fulfillment, joy into your life, into your relationship, into what you do for a living, than spending time consuming somebody you don't care about, you don't like? Like, how the fuck are you actually spending your life? I just don't have time. I don't get it. I don't have time in my life to spend time consuming shit that I don't care about. My time is too important. You only get one chance to live, bro. Like, understand that. But what about other metrics, like engagement metrics, like the total average number of likes over the last 20 posts or the total number of average comments over the last 20 posts? That's actually engagement, right? Well, you could say, like, well, I comment on Trump's posts or Biden's posts, but I can't stand that person. Again, what are you doing with your life? Plain and simple. Look in the mirror every day. What are you honestly doing with your life? If you think that is a productive use of your time and you can't bring more of whatever it is that you tell yourself you want into your life, if you want more money, you want a better relationship, you want a bigger house, you want anything in life, you take time to do that. I don't get it. I don't understand. I literally don't understand. Okay. So we have the average number of likes at 21,600 for Donald Trump here, and we have the average number of likes and the average number of comments for Joe Biden at 109,000 versus 732 for Trump. So if you look at the comments, there's over 5-1, meaning 5 comments for Trump versus 1 for Biden. Right? But then we have people that probably comment if they don't like them. Yeah, that's probably the case, but they're also that's probably a small percentage of people because I think a lot of people actually have better things to do with their time. But there is a small percentage of people that do that. But when you look at this, remember, even if hypothetically that's 20% of things, so you cut off 20%, you cut off 50%, right? We'll just say 50% are just people who just don't have anything better to do with their time, right? That's 10,000 and change versus 2,200 for Biden. Like, it's still 5-1. Adjust for the error, and it's still 5-1. And even if you adjust for that error, look at this. It's got 673 people. Like, you're an intelligent human being. Use your fucking head. Start thinking. This is how we got into this place. To start with, so much complacency. Another is the average number of likes, and I like that one because that might actually be more representative, right? Because even if you do take the time, like, out of your life to follow and interact with somebody you don't like for whatever reason, you're like, my life is amazing. There's 0 things I want to improve in my life at all. I've taken care of every single thing I could possibly take care of in my life. I'm going to spend my time consuming somebody else's content that I don't care about. They're probably not going to like the post, because that shows that they're supporting it in a sense. That's the connotation associated with liking a post. That's why it's a heart. So if you look at that, it's almost 7-1. For every 1 like Biden gets, Trump gets 7. What is going on here, right? Because that's not what the media reports on. The media reports that Biden's winning across the board, literally across the board. But we're looking at the data, and the data shows something else. So do you think for a second, if we went back to this video again, that there's some type of bias there? Maybe, potentially? Well, let's take a look at hashtag usage. So we took a look at the hashtag uses, hashtag Biden 2020 or hashtag Trump 2020. Right? Because, again, just like all the other factors, there could be some cloudiness, but on average, you're going to have more people who support each of the candidates individually using that hashtag. So we have Trump at almost 2.4 million. And if you look at the delta between the last time we did this and today, 134,000 new people have used the hashtag, or new times the hashtag has been used on Instagram, right? 134,000. The total number of times it has been used, period, for Joe Biden is 127,000. So this is what I'm trying to show you guys. The media is extremely biased. We have Joe Biden, where people are using the hashtag Joe Biden 2020 or Biden 2020, 130,000 roughly. Total, since the life of the hashtag started. That's how many people have used it. Yet for Trump 2020, since it started, we've got 2.4 million. And the increase, the delta from the last week when we did this to this week, because we do this every week, so make sure you press that subscribe button. From the 11th to the 24th, which is today, it increased by 134,000. The increase in 1 week for Trump trumped, and I didn't even punt, that wasn't even intended, the total aggregate number of uses for Joe Biden. That's interesting, right? We're about to get into the bonus data here that nobody else talks about any of this. But before we do that, let's look at the search volume. So this search volume is from Google, which is the #1 site in the planet. And we're taking a look at the terms Donald Trump Instagram and Joe Biden Instagram. So this is the largest site in the planet, the largest search engine in the planet, and they allow us to search and see what people are looking for. Kind of interesting, right? So this is over the last 30 days in the United States. We can see that the blue is Donald Trump and the red is Joe Biden. Basically, nobody's fucking looking for Joe Biden. Donald Trump has nearly 90% of all the searches, right? That's kind of interesting. He's got 87.18% of all the search volume for these two candidates versus 12%, 12.8% for Biden. So again, like a 7x, 6x or something like that, 7x increase over what is for Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. But wait a second. That's not what the media reports. Let's take a look at one more bonus factor here. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Let's take a look at this. So this is the Google Play Store, right? Google Play is it's the #1 operating system in terms of total usage in the world here. And all we did was look for Joe Biden on the Play Store. And then the app that came up was this right here. It's called Team Joe app. It has 695 views at a 2-star rating. Cool, right? That's cool. You have an app. Let's look at Trump here. Okay, so Trump, and it just says T2020, official Trump 2020 app, has 42,176 reviews at a 3.5 stars. So neither one of the apps are rated that greatly. However, there's about twice as many stars for Donald Trump's app versus Joe Biden's. But then look at the total number of ratings. There's 42,000 ratings for Donald Trump's app versus 695 for Joe Biden. Like, what is the media trying to do? They're just not telling the story of reality. So I pulled up one more thing here. This is the real bonus here. So this has 10,000 plus. You don't have an exact number, but there's 10,000 plus apps installed for the Joe Biden app. Let's look at Trump's. Over 500,000 people have downloaded that. Wow, that's interesting. Interesting, right? Because in any case that we looked at here, the sample size, meaning the total pieces of data that we have looked at, is substantially larger than any of the data points we look at right here. These right here, where I'm moving it up and down, that is the sample size. So effectively, that's how many people they're asking. Versus the smallest one here we have is the number of comments. And if you aggregate those together, that's 26,000, right? Total comments on average across posts. 26,000 is still nearly a 10x increase in the amount of data than what you have here. The largest one here is from the Hill with 2,829. Now, before we wrap everything up here, I want you, as an intelligent human being, to think for yourself. The best thing you can do, there's two things here. I got two pieces. The first, stop consuming the media. I'm big into fitness, and if you put garbage in, you get garbage results in terms of fitness, right? If you're going to go have McDonald's and ice cream every day, what type of results do you think you're going to get? We already looked at this. We know how the media would respond if Trump said what Biden said. Garbage in, garbage out. If you consume, whether it's watching whether it's listening to, whether it is reading garbage, you are literally filling up your head with garbage that is inaccurate, false, and completely biased at the least. Completely biased. If you want a more accurate representation of what reality is, stop listening to, watching, reading the news. I got rid of my TV in 2009. Utter waste of time watching, listening, or reading to the news. I don't even want to call it the news. We'll call it media because they're definitely not news. News has some connotation that they're accurate, and they are definitely not accurate. So the next thing, take a moment, please. Share this video with somebody that you think could get value out of it. That's the only way we're going to spread the truth. That's the only way we're going to change anything, is if we stop being complacent and we start taking action and get louder than the media. And that doesn't mean that you have to be aggressive and be negative towards somebody. But this is the first time in history where we've had a voice, and it hasn't been just the left-sided media. I don't care if you're left or right. Just get the fucking accurate data. You decide if you're left or right. That doesn't matter to me. Just look at what's actually happening. Not playing some type of telephone game like this. If you've never heard of telephone, basically you get a line of people, and I'll whisper something in this person's ear, they whisper it to the next person's ear, and by the time it gets to that 10th person, the message is completely and utterly distorted. That is what's happening with these. Use this. Use this. You're a smart human being. And decide for yourself. Share this video with somebody. If you don't want to do that, press that likes button. That helps out tremendously with the algorithm. Appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe for tomorrow's video on the YouTube channel rankings. That one's, oh, I like that one a lot, that ranking.